How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. It's happening again for Bitcoin. What we've seen in the past, right before Bitcoin makes a massive move, is happening again. And I want to walk you through that, talk about what we just saw in terms of numbers that is very bullish. Also, talking about some people that are returning to the space after a long time, getting some huge attention. And the government is going after another crypto asset that really is one of the backbones of the crypto ecosystem. It's really important for traders or for investors that the government does not squash this or try to overregulate this. There's also going to be a link to Margex underneath the video where you can place trades. You can go and open different longs and shorts. You can leverage trade, and you can chart everything right here in the app. They also just added Caspa as a collateral asset. So when you do a trade, let's say you want to trade the Bitcoin chart, you could use Caspa in case you think that that's going to go up significantly, but you want to trade an easier chart. Now, Bitcoin just made a big move. You can see here, it went up from 60,600 all the way up to 63,200. Pretty much just popping right back to where we were. I think a lot of that is due to what we'll talk about here in a minute. But in case you want to get ready for this next leg up, like I said, there is a link to Margex. There's also a link to CoinW where you can trade futures, but you can also just buy spot cryptocurrency. They're also giving a bonus when you deposit 100 USDT and do a futures trade. You get $100. Now, as I said, Bitcoin's starting to move up. It's right back to where it was before we saw this massive drop on the hourly, where we saw just a bunch of long liquidations. Now it seems like we're getting some short liquidations after some spot buying. I really do want to see us move up above the $65,000 mark. I'd love to see us break over that 50-week moving average. At this point, though, it's sitting. Let me move out to the daily here. The 50-day moving average is sitting right above about 65,000. So I really want to see us move above here and then up above the $67,000 mark as well. I think that'll be quite bullish so that we can actually see some higher highs again. Now, we are getting some news here today. Some people are considering putting Bitcoin in their reserves. U.S. State Rep asked whether New Hampshire should allocate Bitcoin to its strategic reserves. A 5% allocation in 2016 would be worth $5 million today. That's significant. Obviously, that could cover a lot of holes. Now, it's always interesting to see what the reasons are for a state rep to do this. Maybe they're just saying it to appease some Bitcoiners, right? Get some votes, and they have no real plan on allocating towards Bitcoin. Obviously, that would be a big step for any state to do that. We've been seeing that from nation states already, though, and we've been seeing it from companies. We got news this weekend that El Salvador released a new website that keeps track of their national Bitcoin treasury. They add Bitcoin every single day. They buy Bitcoin. But it is nice to be able to track it all in one place. I think that is a good step forward for, especially governments that hold Bitcoin. I think it makes sense so that way everyone can see, all your voters can see exactly maybe where their money's going to or where the government's money is going to. I think that would be awesome if there's some way to do this on a broad scale, which no one's ever going to do that. They don't want you to know exactly where they're putting all their money. But can you imagine that level of transparency, that level of trust? That would be awesome. We are seeing M2 money supply go back up, which is typically extremely bullish for risk assets. Willie Wu says risk on is coming probably when asset managers come back from summer break. James E. Thorne posts this graph or this chart here. Simple rule, liquidity leads risk assets. M2 growth now positive, quantitative tightening, surprised by the Fed, rate cuts in 2024. Pain trade due north. Okay, so you can see M2 money supply actually going north or going up again from a year ago. So now we're actually seeing positive change in the money supply. Now, to be clear, this is the change, like the change in money supply. So we still had a lot more money back here because we went negative for a year. We went negative money supply on M2. So we actually lost M2 for a while, and now we're getting back into the positive. So to get back to this level of M2 back here, it will take a little bit of time, but it is important to see the direction. We are going positive again, which again is extremely, extremely bullish for risk assets. People watch this. This is like one of the major indicators that people watch to get into crypto. Like, when should I start investing heavily? When M2 starts spiking, and now we're seeing that. So a lot of people will be watching this, and a lot of people will be looking to allocate towards risk assets if this continues, if this trend continues. And you can see there aren't many times where it like spikes up and then goes down. We don't typically see a spike above that zero line and then a change of direction. We usually see little spikes that change direction, maybe over a week or two, but not anything, not a massive trend change in such a short period of time right around that. Roaring Kitty coming back to Twitter, posting this meme, basically just showing that they're interested, right? They are interested back into something. If you don't know who Roaring Kitty is, this is the person behind the GameStop movement. There's a Netflix movie made about him, Dumb Money. You can see that Roaring Kitty is back. They gained apparently 100,000 followers just from this one post. No context. 10 million views. A lot of people starting to talk about this. A lot of people making jokes about how they never sold, or starting up cryptocurrencies. But this does get people excited. A lot of people are posting about this is trending right now. So it will be interesting to see, because he does have a lot of star power. Maybe he wants to invest in cryptocurrency. Maybe he wants to buy Bitcoin after his whole debacle, right? Where he was basically shut down. Maybe he realized that he needs to hold something. Governments can't take away, the wealthy can't take away from him. So yeah, maybe he's going to go buy some Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comment section. It's clear the U.S. government is going after Tether. This is coming from the Ripple CEO. Brad Garlinghouse said he views Tether as an important part of the ecosystem and that its fate will be an interesting one to watch. Ripple CEO Brad says it is clear the U.S. government is going after stablecoin issuer Tether, which could have unprecedented impact on the crypto markets. Garlinghouse said that there would 100% be another crypto-related black swan like FTX. He says the U.S. government is going after Tether. That is clear to me. He called Tether an interesting one to watch because he does think that there's going to be possible U.S. action against Tether that could be that black swan. I view Tether as a very important part of the ecosystem. He added he doesn't know how to predict the impact U.S. regulatory action against Tether would have on the crypto ecosystem. And keep in mind, whenever you hear something like this, you have to wonder where the person's coming from. What kind of ulterior motives might they have? And he does plan on launching his own stablecoin in 2024. So maybe he's saying this because he actually thinks it. Maybe he's saying it because when they launch this token or this stablecoin, they want people to flood over to them, right? It's not a bad business opportunity, right? We've talked about how much money these stablecoin issuers make. You give me money, US dollars or other currencies, right? You give me money, I gave you something that is pegged to that money. But then I can go take your money and I can invest it, right? I can go put it in treasuries. You can't do really much with yours except for exchange it for other assets. But I have the cold US dollar that I can go put in treasuries and print more and more money. And I would not be surprised if the US government does come after Tether, to be clear. Right now, Tether has been investing in a lot of different industries, right? They bought part of a brain chip company, a neurotech company. They are buying Bitcoin every single quarter. They're investing $500 million in Bitcoin mining. The list goes on. The reason for that is they're printing money. They're making so much money. They bought nearly 9,000 Bitcoin at the end of the fourth quarter. And they're buying this because they have so much cash flow. They're not even putting all their cash flow into Bitcoin. To be clear, they're printing over $1 billion a quarter right now. They're printing over $1 billion a quarter. So yes, the U.S. government is going to come after anyone that's making that much money, in my opinion, in the crypto industry. So when a company starts making more than your prized banks, BlackRock, maybe Fidelity, like when they're starting to get on that level, they're going to start looking. And yeah, I mean, the government continues to go after crypto. I would not be surprised if this happens. Also, BlackRock's kind of setting the stage. They are getting their own tokenized fund ready. Like they started to put in hundreds of millions of dollars into this, and it's basically like a decentralized money market. Right? It's based on Ethereum. I've seen people talk about this in all different ways, talking about what this actually is. But what they're doing is they're going and getting yield, and they're creating a stable coin essentially. So they will apparently give some of those rewards out to the people that hold the coin, right? So if you buy 100 BlackRock stablecoin, you buy 100, every quarter they'll send you, something, maybe one extra stablecoin or half of a stablecoin or something like that, which honestly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Honestly, if BlackRock had a stablecoin, they're probably going to be quite centralized, but depending on the situation, I might feel comfortable with it, right? Get a little yield on your stablecoin. Let me know your thoughts on that underneath the video. And to be clear, that's not the same risk profile as going to get yield on some centralized platform. I think this would be safer because they're going to be audited, right? They're going to be very combed over. They're going to be much more careful, I think, than the Wild West of crypto last bull market. I think BlackRock would be better stewards probably than a lot of these small platforms that want to give you yield and then start giving uncollateralized loans out, right? Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video, though. Would you ever use a BlackRock stablecoin? Now, if the U.S. government does go after Tether, who knows? Maybe people flood their money into Bitcoin. We've seen that before. We've seen that before where a stablecoin got depegged and then people start throwing money in Bitcoin because they can't get it out of the crypto ecosystem, so they just go put in the more stable thing. Let me know your thoughts on that underneath the video, though. I would not be surprised if the government continues to go after crypto because they've shown pretty poor judgment in that way in the past. Let me know your thoughts, though. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to do some trades, you can check out MargeX and CoinW underneath the video. I will see you in the next one. Have a great Monday. Bye.